Hey there, thanks for joining me for another yoga video. Whoop whoop for yoga. Thanks for tuning in on the YouTube channel. Thanks for following me and supporting this great journey. I'm so happy to bring y'all another video. Today's workout's going to be a good one. It's going to be all about lengthening and growing and rising above. My word for 2018 was growth, and so this is a really good sequence to kind of embody that. There's some nice, strong standing postures that are going to help us really grow some roots and get a nice, strong base underneath us. And we're going to have some good side lengthening poses to really lengthen in the sides. We're going to look at growing tall through the arms, energetically through the crown of the head, through the spine. And we're going to engage that core because really, how can a tree stand tall if it doesn't have a nice, strong core holding it up sturdy? So it's not all about the roots, it's not all about the trunk, it all has to work together. So this is going to be a great sequence for that. Go ahead and unroll your yoga mat. If you want to use a block, I love teaching this sequence with a block because we're going to be going into Virabhadrasana 3, which is Warrior 3. And so that one sometimes if you can't, if balancing poses are a little bit harder for you, then we can still work on growing length through our toes and our crown of our head while you support your hands on your block. So if you have a block, go ahead and grab one. If you don't have a block, grab a nice big stack of books or a nice big thick book and that'll work just as well. And then go ahead and meet me on your mat in hero pose. Great, so here we are sitting on our heels with our knees bent, feet underneath us, hero pose. And we're going to stay here for about 5 breaths to just really connect. So put your hands on your thighs and kind of start to grow and lengthen through your spine, through the crown of your head, almost like you're trying to grow so tall that you take some of the weight off of your heels, because guess what? That's going to help you feel a little bit better in this pose. So rolling our shoulders onto our back, really energetically feeling like we're trying to plug in from the crown of our head, like there's a string that's trying to bloop, plug into the ceiling, into the universe, into the higher power, or just a string helping you grow if none of that higher power and stuff jives with you. It can all just be like a string pulling your spine nice and tall. You'll kind of feel your thighs engage ever so slightly, nothing crazy. We're only just getting warmed up. Your abs might start to pull in. That'll help take some of the weight out of your knees and off of your heels. If at any point you need to grab your block or your book and place it under your hiney, between your feet, then go ahead and do that as well. That sometimes makes hero pose a little bit easier. And then we're going to put our hands on our thighs and we're just going to take a few breaths here to center, to be present on our mat. Only now can yoga begin. You may want to close your eyes if that helps you center a little bit. And let's just take a few breaths here, getting ready for this practice. We're going to root down and rise up, rise above, grow tall. Go ahead and start breathing in and out through your nose. Feeling the warmth on the hairs of your nose. Maybe constricting in your throat a little bit to make the ocean sound of the ujjayi breath. One more round of breath here. On your next inhale, engage your thighs, sweep your arms up and around, and grow tall through your fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, push the air away and come back down. Palms turn out, inhale, grow tall through the sides, fingertips to the ceiling, and exhale, push the air away. A few more, inhale, sweep those arms up, 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 finding so much length. Exhale, push the air away. Last one, inhale, reaching, growing, trying so hard to touch the ceiling. Exhale, push the air away. Excellent. Swing your feet around to sit. We are going to start our first introduction pose to this awesome Hatha sequence. Dandasana, staff pose, great. It seems pretty easy because you're just sitting here, but there's a lot going on. And so energetically, there's a lot of lengthening. So staff pose is where you're pushing into the floor, lengthening through your heels. Your feet might rise off the ground. You're reaching so tall. So we're lengthening up through the crown. We're also going to be energizing and lengthening through the heels to start just feeling what it feels like to lengthen and energize through our body. So to start, just start to ground your fingers into the mat. I mean that literally, like start to push your hands into the mat. As you do that, your shoulders roll back just a little bit. And as you push down, in opposition to pushing your fingertips down, grow tall through the crown of your head. Grow, grow, grow through the top of your head like there's a string. Take a nice big breath, pushing into the floor, and exhale, release. Very good. Still pushing into the floor, but don't lengthen so much through the crown. Now let's start to lengthen through our heels. So energetically start to push like you're kicking your heels like they're trying to kick into the wall. You'll feel your calves engage. The tops or the bottoms of your heels might actually lift up off the floor. So no engagement, no lengthening, engaging and lengthening. I don't know if you can see, but there's ever so slightly. If not, it's fine. But really feel like you're trying to push your heels into the wall in front of you. As you do that, then start to push your hands into the floor. Lengthening through the crown. Abs pull in. Shoulders are nice and strong on our back. Nice full breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. One more inhale. And exhale, release. Excellent. That pose right there should already get you a little sweaty, a little warmed up. That's a strong pose. So now that we kind of know what we're doing with this lengthening, hopefully, let's keep going. So start to bring your knees in, roll back onto your sitting bones, and just start to come up onto your toes a little bit. Here, we're going to feel our back, our spine, lengthen. So your belly button pulls in. You may even, like you're wanting to arch your back, but don't. Just to feel like you're growing tall. Really, really pull the abs in and really grow up and back almost diagonally. You can even bring your hands here if you need to kind of get a little more support. We're going to come into Navasana, bow pose. So start to bring your feet off the ground, and we're going to be lengthening through our toes while pulling our knees and our abs in. So you don't have to straighten your legs out. Stay here at the little bit less of the expression if you'd like. And really, really, again, if you want to put your hands behind you to get the lengthening, then that's fine. Now one big inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down, or your feet down. Great job. Shimmy on your hips a little bit. Woo. Okay, let's do bow pose again. We're starting to activate that core. We're starting to we're still kind of finding some more length. So rolling back onto your sitting bones, sit up nice and tall, and then start to lengthen your toes towards the room or towards the wall in front of you or whatever's in front of you. And then let's start to lengthen our fingertips. Inhale, exhale, and release. Very good. Oh, reach forward. That feels good. Excellent. Swing your knees around to the side. And let's do a nice little seated gate pose. So just swinging your knees to the side. Take your right hand and just place it down right next to your hip. So the palm of your hand may still be on your yoga mat and the fingertips may come off. But so that your arm is still grazing your side. And then just gently bend your elbow a little bit and reach over. Twist your pinky in a little bit so that your shoulder blade stays on your back. This is not a back bend, so no need to open way, way, way through the chest. Just keep the gaze up so you know your chest is not collapsing. And breathe into the side body stretch on the right or on the left side. Right hand is down, left hand over. Excellent. Bring the arm around. Come up onto your knees. And we're just going to do a couple twists in hero pose. So inhale, your arms reach up, lengthen through your fingertips. Exhale, right arm comes across to the left knee, left hand behind, nice twist. Inhale, reaching up through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. So turn to the right, right hand behind, left hand to knee. Very good. Now inhale, grow tall. Exhale, right hand comes to left knee. Very nice, gentle twist. Inhale through center, growing, growing, growing tall. Exhale, nice, gentle twist. Left hand to right knee. Excellent. From here, go ahead and just swing your knees over to the left side, or to the right side, I'm sorry. So you're on your left hip. And we're going to do this seated side stretch on the other side. So hand comes down so that your arm is still grazing your side. Nice little bend in the elbow as we just reach the arm over. Pinky turns in, so palm faces behind to help keep the shoulder blade down on the back. And just reach the fingertips, lengthening them over to the left side. Nice big inhale and exhale. In and out through the nose. Excellent. On your next exhale, bring it through center. And just come up onto your hands and knees. We're going to do some cat-cows. And then we're going to start working on lengthening our legs behind us in the same motion as Warrior 3, where you lengthen through your toes behind you. So, we're in tabletop on our hands and knees. Shoulders should be directly over our wrists. Knees should be directly underneath our hips. Inhale, reach that tailbone up to the ceiling. As you pull your heart through, push into the floor. Keep your chin parallel to the floor. And exhale, push the floor away as you hollow through the stomach. Curl your tailbone down and tuck your chin. Inhale, pull that heart through, curl the tailbone up. Exhale, hollow that stomach round in the upper back. Inhale, pull the heart through, tailbone lengthens. Exhale, push into the floor and hollow out your stomach. Last one, inhale, opening through the chest. Lengthen the tailbone up, 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 and now push the floor way around the back and lengthen the tailbone down between your knees. Excellent. Come to neutral tabletop and start to sweep your your right leg back behind you. Really pushing into the floor, trying to keep your hips squared, so you might have to roll that right hip down a little bit, and really energize through the toes like you're trying to kick into whatever is behind you. You should really feel that leg nice and engaged. And then, if you want to get a little tricky with it, start to bring your left hand forward. Abs are in. And release. Excellent. Now we're going to do that again on the other side. This is the same sort of motion. It's actually the exact same motion we're doing with our leg in Warrior 3. So we're going to take it eventually to a standing position. So, nice big inhale. Exhale, send that leg back, roll your hip down, really energize through your toes. That leg should be so engaged. Belly button to spine, making sure our hips are squared. Breathe. And now if you'd like to, on your next inhale, reach your right arm forward. Still pushing into the floor, very active hands. And breathe. Excellent. Bring it on down. So now let's just swing our legs around and step to the top of our mat. Come on up to standing, rolling up nicely. Very good. Tadasana at the top of our mat. Let's go through a couple sun salutations to make sure we're nice and loosey-goosey. We're going to then start taking these poses into a little more of a flow. Excuse me. So, inhale the arms up, reaching, growing tall, lengthening through the fingertips. Exhale, down through the center, swan dive. Forward fold. If you have your block in front of you, this would be a great time to push your hands into the block to lengthen through the top and the crown of your head, lengthening through your head, lengthening back through your tailbone, and exhale, fold back down into forward fold. Hands plant, and we step back to lengthen into plank. Drop knees if you'd like, and let's chaturanga to the ground. Excuse me, block. Push up into upward dog, or if you're in cobra, that's excellent as well. And now exhale, push away into down dog. Take a second in this first down dog of the practice to pedal a couple times. Really lengthening those heels down to stretch our calves. Looking to the top of the mat, let's step, then step. Exhale, forward fold. Using your block if you'd like to. Lengthen, come up with a flat back, lengthening the crown of the head and the tailbone away. Exhale, forward fold. Bend knees, root down through the feet, and rise up, grow tall through the fingertips. Exhale, come down through the center into forward fold. Hands come to shin or block. Lengthen through the crown of the head forward, half lift. Exhale, hands find the floor, and we step back to plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga, Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push away. Downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, step or jump. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands come to shin or block and lengthen through that back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, sit your hips, reach all the way up and around. Hands come down through heart center. Let's add in a couple low lunges. So inhale the arms up and around, growing. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands can come to shins or block or floor. Lengthen with a flat back. On your exhale, hands come to the mat and we step the right foot back. Drop the knee. Check that our knee is directly above our ankle. Gracious, I'm getting everything mixed up today. Root down into your base, so through that left foot and your right knee, and grow tall, tall, tall through your fingertips. Low lunge. Exhale, hands down. Pop that foot up to the top of the mat and fold over your legs. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hands down, step your left foot back. Drop your knee, check your foot alignment, and then lengthen those fingertips up, up, up. Low lunge. Hands come down, toes tuck, and we pop it to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit your hips, root down and grow through your fingertips, tall, tall, tall. Exhale, fold it right down through the middle. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hands find the mat, step your right foot back, drop your knee, and let's peel that chest off of our thigh, growing tall through our fingertips. Making sure we're really rooted down in our base. Really, really rooting in that front foot and that back knee. Let your hips sink while keeping them square to the front. And then grow tall through the fingertips. It's almost like your hips are pulling down while your fingertips are pulling up. Exhale, hands to the mat, untuck the back toes, and pop that right foot up. Fold over your legs. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Push into the block for extra length. Exhale, hands find the floor. Step that left foot, drop your knee. Root down through that right foot and that left knee. And then peel your chest up and grow tall, tall, tall through your fingertips. So much length. How can you rise above? You may be shaking, you may think your base isn't strong enough, but root down through those feet. Rise up through your fingertips and really, really grow. Excellent. Hands come to the mat. Untuck your back toe and step that left foot up. Fold over your legs. Inhale, push into your block if you have it to find extra length in the spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root down through your feet. Sit your knees and your hips and rise up, growing tall. Hands come down through heart center. Excellent. Let's keep on going. Inhale those arms right around and reach, 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 reach tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Come into runner's lunge. Lengthen through the back heel. So your right heel is really lengthening back. You're up on the ball of your right foot. Right heel is pushing back so your right leg is super engaged. Root down through that left foot, really pushing it into the floor. Left knee is directly over our left ankle. Fingertips in the ground. Maybe this is a place if you need to bring the block to help you get a little extra length. And then really, really lengthen through the crown of your head, like you're trying to push your head into whatever's in front of you. Drop that back leg. Untuck your toes. And let's just come on up into low lunge again. Now I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Start to come up on the ball of your right foot. And we're taking this low lunge, adding it to our runner's lunge. And we're now in crescent pose. Really growing long through our right heel, rooting down in our left foot, and then growing tall through our fingertips. Perfect. Breathe. Breathe in this crescent pose. Check your hips are squared. If you need to drop your knee again, please do it. Inhale.
Exhale, bend that knee and pop it in just a little bit. Hips are squared to the front. You may need to take that right foot out just a tiny bit more. Foot's at about a 45-degree angle. And you can either grab your elbows behind or you can slide those pinkies up and do reverse namaste. We're going to come into triangle pose. So inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, but stop halfway. And really feel yourself growing through the crown of your head forward. Pull the abs in, shoulders back. This is what your upper body is going to feel like in Warrior 3. Undo your hands and now round over that leg. Squaring our hips to the front, so you may need to pull that left hip back and send the right hip forward. And just stretch over that leg, really rooting down through your toes. Excellent. Drop your hands, step those feet back, and we're in downward facing dog. Take a nice breath. On your next inhale, sweep your right leg up and high, square your hips to the mat, but just grow tall through that toe, through your right toes. Push the floor away, and now exhale and drop. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg up and high. Hips are square, toes are really reaching, we're pushing into the floor, really, really, really growing tall. Excellent, excellent. Drop that left foot, and now we're just going to look in between our hands and step our right foot forward, coming into runner's lunge on the other side. So, right foot is rooted down, knee is directly over ankle, and we're really energizing through that left heel. We're almost pushing ourselves forward on our back toes. But we have to find that good balance of where we're stretching and where we're strong. So, growing tall, lengthening through the crown of your head. You're up on your fingertips or on the block if you need to. And now drop that back knee and come on up into low lunge. Energizing through the fingertips, we're going to untuck our left toes and straighten that leg coming into crescent pose. Hips are squared to the front, really energizing through that back heel. Growing tall through the fingertips. If you need to drop that back knee back into low lunge, please do it. Excellent, last breath. And now bend that back leg and pop it forward, pyramid pose. I like to take my foot out just a little bit more and really make sure my feet are hip width distance. Left foot is angled, about a 45-degree angle. And we're either grabbing our elbows or sliding our pinkies up our back into reverse namaste. Pull your abs in. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Growing, growing, lengthening through the crown. Stop halfway. Abs are in. This is what our upper body feels like in Warrior 3. Last breath. And now exhale, release your hands, round over that leg. Really pull that right hip back to square our hips off. That stretch feels good. Excellent. Hands find the floor and we step back into downward facing dog. Nice breath here on our in-between pose. Inhale, rock forward to plank. Really growing tall through the crown of our head and through our heels, pushing into the floor. Abs are pulled in, gaze is slightly forward, nice, strong plank. Take the weight off of your right foot and just point the toes to the back of the mat. Again, lengthening through the crown and the toes at the same time. Drop that foot, drop your knees, take a quick breath, and now back up into plank. Next inhale, take the left toes off the ground, reaching them back, 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 growing through the crown of the head, and drop that foot. Push back into downward facing dog. Look to the top of your mat and step or jump. Inhale, sweep the arms up, up, up and around, and come to standing Tadasana. We are now finding our way into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. This is our pose of the day, then we will wind down and end in Shavasana. We are over halfway there. You're doing so good. You are going to feel so tall and so just like you can rise above anything after this workout. Alrighty, so hands come to hips. Really feel around for these little knobby bones here. These are called your asis. These are your hip bones. They're kind of pointy and knobby. Find both of them. And then just reach your hands around your hips. I just like you to find these little bones so you can make sure when they're square. You can feel when you have your hands on both of them, you can feel when one starts to get away from the other. So, hands on our hips, looking forward. We're going to start to take the weight into our left foot. Toes are going to come back behind us. Pull the abs in, keep the hips square, and just ever so slightly start to sweep your toes back. You're going to have to hinge forward a little bit at some point, but that's not quite what we're working on. Remembering to keep a bend in our left knee so we don't lock our knee out and hurt it, micro bend. And just work with getting your foot back. You may have to stop and keep working on it. Find your drishti point, which should be your focus point, so a little bit down and in front of you. I'm going to look at my little white elephant there. The top of his trunk is perfect for me, so you can see it's kind of down and in front. And take a couple breaths and just work on keeping your hips squared, so right hip will need to roll down a little bit probably. And just really starting to send the toes lengthening back. Excellent. One more breath here. Now tuck it in. Shake that left leg out. Perfect. Let's do that again. This time, working on hinging forward at the same time. So as we're sweeping our foot back, now we're really working on hinging forward. Abs are in, balancing. Now you can take your hands off your hips and keep them back behind you. Maybe you might want to put them out to the side. And if you're really looking for the full expression, in front. Lengthening through the fingertips and the crown, lengthening through the toes. Hip is rolled down. Nice full breath here. If you need to have your hands on the block, this is what it will look like. And drop. Excellent. Bend your knees, shake it out. Perfect. Let's do it on the other side. Hands on our hip, find those little knobby bones. And then start to take the weight into the right foot, keeping a micro bend. Toes come behind. And then they continue to lengthen back. Really kicking, 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 engaging. Hip is rolled down. Excellent. If you need to grab that block in front of you at any point, do so. Now let's work on taking our hands. Oh, let's actually rest for a second. Okay, we rested for a second. Now let's work on the hands and the balance. So, taking our foot, lengthening it back behind us. Micro bend in the right knee.
Hip roll down, hinging. Abs are in. Arms come down beside us, out to the side, onto the blocks for more length, like this. Or, whoop, or out in front of you. If you need to drop that toe, do it. I keep having to. Hold it for a good breath. And pull it in and drop. Excellent. Oh my goodness, that was so great. Let's stretch it out. Inhale, grow tall, tall, tall. And now grab your right wrist with your left hand and start to just hinge over to the right side or left side, pulling our right arm over. Great side body stretch. And bring it up through center, let go. Find that length, inhale. Exhale, right hand grabs left wrist and we pull it over to the right. Excellent side body stretch right here. Hands come down, we're up in the center. Let's just do a nice little neck stretch. It never really hurts. It always feels good. So, right ear is going to come down to our right shoulder. It's probably not going to touch, just towards the right shoulder. Inhale, your right arm around to touch your left temple and gently apply some pressure. Left hand comes out and energize your fingertips down. And you should really feel it in your neck. Exhale, release. Come through center. Left ear finds left shoulder. Inhale that left arm over to the right temple, applying slight pressure. Right fingertips energize down and out like this. It feels good. Excellent. Release, come through center, and let's find our way seated. We are going to do seated pigeon pose. So if you'd like to come back and rest on your hands behind you, that really feels good. So we are going to take our right foot in front of us, bring our knee then in towards us, and then open that hip, resting our right ankle on our left knee. Flex that right foot to protect your right knee. And then when you're ready, grow through the crown of your head so you have a nice long spine. And then walk that left foot in, energizing that right knee away. We are winding down, we are slowing down. Energize that right knee away to really get into that right hip. Excellent. Unwind, keeping your left knee bent. Send your right foot out straight in front of you and then just start to open that left hip. So left knee comes to the ground. Rise up through your sit bones, inhale your arms up and tall, and then hinge forward with a long spine, reaching for your foot. Grab your shin, your ankle, your toes, and then let it round in your upper back. Keeping the length, Only rounding in the upper back. If you start to feel your rounding in your low back, gotta lose the round in the upper back because we're really looking for the stretch, really. So we need a nice flat back for that. Excellent. Come up, straighten that left leg. Both legs are straight in front of us. Grow tall, sweep the arms up, find length, and then hinging forward at the hips. Reaching to your shins, your ankles, your feet. Really, really getting a nice stretch in the backs of the legs. Pelvis should be pointed forward. Spine should be long, long, long. And breathe. Toes are flexed towards your face to really amp up the stretch. Excellent. Release. Bring your right foot into your left leg. Bent at the knee. Left leg is straight, toes flexed. Inhale, arms reach up nice and tall. And then hinge forward to find your shin, ankle, or toes. And breathe. We should be slowing down a little bit now. These forward folds are telling our body to cool off, to wind down. And release. Keeping your right knee bent, just place your foot on the floor. Left leg is straight. We're going to bring our knee in towards our chest, and then we're going to hinge open our hips, flex our foot to protect our knee, and then rest our ankle, left ankle on our right knee. Come up on your hands behind you, long spine, and then just start to work that right foot in closer and closer to get more stretch in the left hip. Energize that left knee away, away, away. Breathe into that left hip. Excellent. Drop the left knee. Hands come in front of us, and we slowly roll our spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. Slowly and controlled. Abs are pulled in. And there we go. Once our back is on the floor, bend your knees, push into your feet to lift your hips off the ground, and then shoot, like swing your hips to the right so they land on your left hip, and then drop the knees over to the left. Arms come out to a T, making sure our shoulders stay on the ground. And if you want to, take your block in between your legs and really feel how the stretch is still nice and deep, but you're able to keep your shoulders on the mat. So you're really just stretching in the spine, and the lower spine and the low back and not the upper back. If you don't need the block between your legs and you can still keep your upper back on the mat, that's fine. But sometimes that block in between the knees is a nice little modification to help with that stretch. A few breaths here and supine twist. Pull your belly button to your spine as you bring your knees through the center, toes touch, and we
Bring our hips back to neutral. Push into your feet. Swing your hips over to the left and roll onto your right hip. Knees come to the right side. Again, if you need that block in between your knees to help make sure your shoulder stays on the ground, then please do so. There is no right or wrong way to do the pose. It's how can we do the pose so that our body gets the most benefit. And if we're forcing something or we're not able to get into, a good expression of the pose, then we're just not getting the most bang for our buck. So props are so great to help bridge the gap to get the most out of the pose, but making it work for your body and your ability. I love props. Last breath. Toes come to touch. Hips square back onto the mat. Bring your knees into your chest and just give yourself a big hug. And then let it all fall out and down for Shavasana. Feet come to the width of our mat. Let your toes fall out naturally to wherever they do. Whether you rotate out, maybe you stay neutral, maybe you even rotate in. Whatever feels relaxed for your body. Give your hips a little shimmy to release your low back. Arms should be resting nicely beside you. Shake your head side to side to release your neck. Release that jaw. Let your tongue soften to the lower palate. Eyes fall back into your socket. And probably want to close. And your belly falls soft. Breath is natural. No longer worrying about the length of the inhale or the exhale or the sound. Just let your body breathe however it comes naturally. Time to rest after we did all that rooting and rising and growing. Now is the time to rest, time to let it integrate. Shavasana. Start to bring your awareness back into your body, back into the room. sensations around you. Give your fingertips and your toes a nice wiggle. And your wrists and your ankles. Hips, arms, shoulders. Wake up, body. That was a great rest. Feet come together to touch. Arms sweep out, around, and overhead. Last bit of length from our toes to our fingertips. And roll over onto one side, arm resting under your head for fetal pose. Nice cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keeping your eyes closed, push up to a seated position. Feel your sitting bones root down. Grow tall through the crown of your head. Sweep the arms out and around as we inhale to gather the energy. Exhale, pull it down into heart center. Thumbs touch into your sternum. We're going to end with the unifying vibration of Om. So nice big inhale, and we'll exhale Om. Eyes flutter open. Take in the room around you. Take in the feeling of your body. How do you feel right now? Do you feel tall? Do you feel rooted? Do you feel like you can just rise above all the crap that life throws at you? And when the winds try and blow you over, try and come back to this practice, rooting down through our base, pulling in through our core, and then rising through our trunk, connecting to the universe above us, those around us, and saying no. Winds of stress and bullshit and just negativity, I am not going to let you blow me over, because I know who I am, I know what I stand for and what I believe, and I will rise above, and I will persevere, and I will take on this day and these events how I need to, grounded in who I am. Because you are grounded and you are rooted, and the wind will not blow you over. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me.